Welcome back. Let's create a virtual tag. So from the tag screen, click Create a Virtual Tag. And let's name this tag key. I'm going to call this one Teams. Then you can select a billing period backfill. So this is when the virtual tag will be backfilled until. I'm just going to put March for now, but you can go even further back. This can override toggle is important. You'd enable this option if you want this new virtual tag to override any of the existing tags from your provider. So if you already have some sort of tag from AWS that tags a set of costs and you don't want it overridden by this new virtual tag, then don't enable it. But in this case, I want my tagging structure to reflect this particular tag because it's not very well defined in my pre-existing provider. And I want these tags to be what's shown in cost reports. So let's add some values. When I click Add here, I have 3 different options. Custom value, which means I create and define the filters for the cost criteria to include in the virtual tag values. You can also create a tag off of a business metric, meaning I can select an existing business metric, let's say shared resource CPU, and indicate the output costs, such as total namespace costs allocated to specific teams based on their usage of that CPU. So the allocation, the output cost mimics the percentage allocation of the existing business metric. We also have dynamic cost allocation, so cost-based. And in this example, I'm splitting teams' overall use of something like, say, AWS costs and allocating a static support fee to each team based on their overall usage. There's a lot more to these other types of tags, so I'll link to additional documentation on each of these methods as well as examples in the resources. But in this particular example, we're just going to add a custom value for teams. We're going to add a value for the data team, and we're going to filter for what that team covers. So the data team, for example, is going to cover some GCP services, so I'll select service. And these filters function very similar or exactly the same, really, to what filters in cost reports are. So we can select BigQuery here. I'm also going to add a filter. Let's say my data team covers AWS Redshift. And then I'm going to add an additional value for another team. This is going to be my finance team, and they're responsible for particular accounts within my data. So they'll cover some AWS accounts. And again, these function just like cost report filters. So when I'm done, I'll click Save. And notice here that the data is processing, so it's going to take some time to put these tags over your cost data. But while it's processing, let's take a look at one of the virtual tags I already created. So if I look at the cost report here, I'll see a new cost report. And I have this virtual tag I previously created for environment, and it's for AWS costs. So I'm going to select this. I'll select tag key, environment, and here's some values I created. And just like with regular provider tags, these will show up in the filters, and I can see it on this report. And that's virtual tags in a nutshell. If you have questions or want to see more examples, consult the Vantage documentation.